My name is Kevin Greer, and I'd like to demo our Olympic medal database application, which is written in Foam. What's unique, or not unique, but unusual, is that this has 29,000 records, we can see here, and they're all being stored offline in IndexedDB. IndexedDB is not known for being very fast, but Foam adds a caching layer, which greatly improves the performance. So we can see we've got 29,000 records, and we can take the scroll bar, and we can scroll top to bottom, right through 29,000. And notice there's no delay or jank or paging. Now we can sort. Notice there's a slight delay. The first time you sort by a new column, it'll auto-index that column, and there's a delay for about a second. But then the second time, it's instant. Okay. So here I can search for the year. So this is the year of every Olympic. And right beside each one, you see it's got a little count. So that's how many medals were issued in that year. So I can say from 1948 to 1972. And you notice all of the years before 1948 have been eliminated because they're no longer make sense given you've said that you wanted to be from 1948. Now we're showing only 5,511 out of the 29,000. I can pick the city. Now the city list is much smaller, and also we have the medal count for each city as well. So if we go back and get rid of this, now we can see we have a larger selection of cities. I pick the discipline, say archery, and now I only get the events that are related to archery. If I did undo that, then I get all of the events. So you can see what it's doing is it's filtering the filters. Not only if I pick anything from any of these lists, you notice it's instantaneous, like the results are literally on the next frame. But so not only do I have time to do the search, but I have the time to do every other next search. So I can filter the filters. I can eliminate all the options that no longer make sense and provide the counts for all of the remaining choices that do matter. So this is a big time saver when you're searching for data because you're not being presented with options that don't make sense. When the option no longer makes sense, it's filtered out so you don't see it. And when you're previewing, so here's by country, it tells you how many medals. So that's information by itself. Okay. Now here we have by color, gold, silver, bronze, and I don't even have to click on these. It's fast enough. Just as I mouse over, you can get a preview of what the search would be. And then if I click on it, then I lock that in. So men and women, just by hovering. So this is, by being Foam indexing and caching there is about 100 times faster than raw IndexedDB. And this fundamentally changes things. This is not just quantitative difference. This becomes a qualitative difference in that when you can do your filters and you can do searches on hover. Okay. Now, what we can also do, so we have these categories which we have drop combo boxes for, or list boxes, but we've also got just generic search. So something that's not covered like first name or last name. So if I want to search for everyone with the last name Greer, there's only two. Or first name Kevin. Okay, a little more of those. First name Kevin or last name Greer. And so on and so forth. So I can do like ands, ors, nots, contains, basically the same query language that you would get on Gmail or the Chrome issue tracker. Okay. And so that's not a problem. It's 29,000 records and it's offline. We can search, sort, get group counts, filter the filters, and it's all very fast. Now, let's look at the code. So it's about, so we're starting on line 18. So about 220 lines. We're creating a controller, so it's a model view controller architecture. We have some requirements, exports, properties. Then we have our CSS, and then our HTML template, all embedded in one file. So that's all there is. But what we can also do is we can run a server. So that's a client server. No, that's a version where all the data is running on the client. But if we want to run a node server, we can serve that data from a server. Okay, we can have a look at that. Not very big either. Server, we're going to export a DAO. The metal DAO. So DAO is data access object. That's the abstraction that we use for storing data, irregardless of the underlying storage mechanism. So we create that, create the DAO, and we load some test data into it, and we export it. And client controller, this just extends the controller we previously looked at, but instead of using a local DAO, this is going to use the client DAO, so it's going to get the data from the server. Oops. Okay, so this looks exactly the same. It's a little bit slower. If I scroll, it's still pretty fast. But if I look at the network, as I scroll, or as I search, you can see it's generating network traffic. But it's still pretty fast. Whereas if I go to the previous one, and I do anything here while looking at the network, there's no network traffic at all. So that's it. For about 220 lines, plus a little bit more for the server, you get the client version, you get the client server version, you get the server, and you get the network protocol. And it's all really fast.